welcome back. Oh my gosh, does this video feel so overdue? It's like we're nearly at the end of January already and we're only just setting up our reading journal for the year. But today is reading journal day. First up, I got myself a new one. So for those of you that were here, that were with me in 2024, you'll know that my book journaling journey was like sporadic and bitty at best. So I did try and start a book journal. I think it was kind of May, June, July kind of time, somewhere in that early summer region. And I loved it, but I found it so hard to keep up with. And after having like watched so many other booktubers make their journals, after having watched so many things on Instagram, after you guys sending me so many TikToks and reels, thank you so much. I feel like I know what I did wrong. I feel like I know what the vibe needs to be this year. And as with everything in life, I don't know how I didn't identify it straight away. The problem or the solution is all in the prep. So today we are prepping the 2025 reading journal. This is she. I did rip out the few pages that I did of my 2024 reading journal so I can stick them in the back of here so I can just keep them as the memory, just so that I've got what I attempted to do in 2024, even if there wasn't much to it. So I can then use that notebook for something else. But I really wanted the personalization of having my name and reading journal written on the book. I got this one from Papier. I'll talk all about supplies and stuff probably at the end. But for now, I'm just so keen to dive straight into it. A reading journal, if you're bookish, is not something that's compulsory. I mean, none of this is compulsory, right? I mean, the bookish world is literally just a group full of besties that all just want a hobby and to feel something from the book. So you don't have to make one of these at all. I loved the crafting. The calmness that comes with crafting is just a next level of peace. And I'm loving the like playful girliness of just being able to make cute spreads in a book. I think it's a kind of innocent joy that I just really want in my life, regardless of age, circumstance, anything. It's the type of joy I want. So I'm doing one. If you want to do one, maybe this can be a bit of an inspo for you. We're going to sit down now, make it. We're going to prep all the spreads for the year, and then the plan being that throughout the year I can then basically just fill it in. That's the plan. We're templating now and then we fill it in later. Right, I'm gonna stop talking. I have taken these ideas largely from Pinterest. If you wanna follow me on Pinterest or just go have a look on my Pinterest, then you can. I type in mostly like reading journal ideas or like reading journal aesthetic, and then I save a load of the pages that I like the look of into reading journal board, which you can go and just like look at that board, and then I basically copy those into here. So I'm not that naturally creative. I basically am putting a spin on inspo that I found elsewhere online. If I had specific creators to tag and credit, I would, but I feel like Pinterest is just like a very open sharing platform. So that's where I get all my ideas from for these spreads. Okay, right, let's do it. Let's dive straight in. I'm gonna put on some music and maybe I'll do a top to bottom listen of Tortured Poets. I've been feeling really nostalgic for it lately, remembering listening to it in spring and just like all those vibes I was feeling when the sun was coming out when it came out last year. I'm just like ready for sunshine. So anyway, probably gonna put that on, listen to it top to bottom whilst we do our 2025 reading journal. Let's do it. Journal 2025. Let's do it. I'm going to talk you through how I made each of my spreads, what my thought process was. But if you want to mute me and just put me on in the background and listen to your own music and just watch me journal whilst you also journal, then definitely do that. So this is my front title page. I knew I wanted the front page to be quite like cottagecore, super girly, just something that's really reflective of my pink bookish reading room that I've got in the house. I've also got a little excerpt in here from chapter 54 of A Court of Mist and Fury. If you know, you know. Honestly, I'm not that happy with how this page turned out in the end. I think because some of the gold ended up smudging, I think I'm going to come back to it and add some more to it a little bit later on. Moving on to the next page, the rating system. I did this in my 2024 reading journal, and to be honest, I'm kind of using the same structure, same description of what each star rating means to me. Honestly, sometimes rating books is just the hardest thing because you feel so confused. So for me to be able to look back into my reading journal and be like, okay, Ellen, just which of these distinct categories does it fit into, I find super helpful. Then on the next page, I've got my reading goals. I actually really like this spread. This is like a direct copy from a spread that I found on Pinterest. I just thought it was the cutest way to show my goals. So I've got each of my 5 reading goals for the year laid out, which if you missed my Bookish reset vlog where I set my goals, they are to read 80 books, read every genre, read outside more, make some bookish friends, and then maintain my book journal. And then I've got a little circle, as you can see there, next to each of those, and I'm going to tick them off, hopefully at the end of the year, once I've completed them all. And I just thought the whole goals coming out of an envelope thing was just a really, really lovely way to display it. And in the rating system, I should have said what I actually have categorized them as, but they are 1 star, should have DNF'd it, 2 star, read at your own risk, 3 star, enjoyable but forgettable, 4 star, loved, would recommend, and then 5 star, no notes, brain chemistry altered. Okay, moving on to the reading goal page. I love this one. Last year I had a spread where there were lots of different shelves, and this year I've just made it one giant shelf basically. I have got my reading goal of 80 books this year. I think I probably will read more than that, to be honest, but I just really didn't want to have any pressure on myself this year to read quantity over quality. I just wanted to kind of take that pressure off, and I still want to read a lot, so hopefully I will hit 80. I'm kind of sure I will. So for this, I have drawn out 80 books, but I've left some space on the shelves in case I want to add a few more books. If I do hit 80 and I feel like I want to add to it, but my plan is to basically colour in the books throughout the year every time I read a book. So I think I've actually already read like 5 books this year. Not as many as I normally would in a month, but I can start colouring this in, which is going to be so much fun. I think it'll be such a cute, colourful shelf by the end of the year. I've then got my monthly reading tracker, which I'm doing in a very different way this year. And this is the most like mathsy, sciencey, least like artsy spread, but I thought it was really fun to have a bit of a graph in here. So I've got the months along the bottom, and then I've got the number of books up the side on the y-axis. And my plan is to basically draw a little square and colour in a little square in kind of like a bar graph type style every time I read a book, so I can see month to month, like comparatively how many I read. I think it's a really nice thing to be able to look at and see. I wanted something that was really clear to be like, oh my gosh, I read so much more in May than I did in any other month, or whatever it might be. Okay, this is my favorite spread. For you guys that were around in 2024, you know that I did a book bingo. I loved doing the book bingo, and this year, I think the book bingo thing was really fun to be able to tick off books of different like categories, but it wasn't really bingo. It's not like I was trying to get 4 in a row, or I don't know what made it bingo-esque. Again, that was another Pinterest spread that I found. But this I thought was such a cute way to do it. This exact inspo is pinned on my reading journal Pinterest board. I've made up my own squares and made my own square designs, but I thought having just like really different funky squares with different reading prompts in there, and then I'm basically going to color them all in like different colors and make them super fun once I can tick off each of those things. So you can see that I've got in here a load of different ones. Rom-com, obviously, I'm gonna read that in like 2 seconds flat. I've also got a British author. I would love to make sure that I'm reading just, you know, supporting my British authors this year. A classic. I know so many of you have asked me to read some good classics this year. I tried to just really mix it up. A lot of these are quite similar to TBR jar prompts, so hopefully I'll tick them off relatively easily if we make good use of the TBR jar this year. But this year I'm also calling it a bookish bucket list, or my reading bucket list for the year. I just think it will look so nice when it's all coloured in. I think this one will remain my favourite spread. We'll have to see when it comes to the end of the year, but I think this one has like the most potential to look really nice. I'll also just say that, as you can see, I spent some time before actually filming this today to go through and just like mark out in pencil all the spreads that I wanted to have. Definitely, if you're anything like me, one of the best things to invest in is a good rubber. I only have one of those little rubbers at the end of my pencil, and the number of times I was rubbing things out and redoing it because I'm like a little bit of a perfectionist, but not actually, I don't have the raw skill to do the job. So there was a lot of rubber and a lot of pencil used. And actually one of the best ways to avoid needing to have like a proper artsy skill is doing the scrapbooky thing with different coloured papers and different patterned papers. It's such an easy way to add some creative flair without needing to be like an excellent drawer or anything. This is definitely like my first attempt at doing the reading journal decorating stuff, and I think there's a really good chance that I'll come back to it throughout the year and add things, especially if there are locations and places that I can add some of the colourful paper stuff. I just think the scrapbooky junk journaly effect is so pretty. So the more that I can have that vibe in here, the better. And I feel like there are a few spreads that there's space to jazz them up a little bit in the future. Okay, next we have anticipated releases for the year. If you saw my video just before Christmas, I went through all of my most anticipated releases for 2025, and I just think it's such a good bookish year. I mean, I know I'm new to this whole world, but I'm so pumped for the 2025 releases, and I'm going to print little pictures of the front covers for each of those and pop them in each of these squares, and I think that will look so cute. And then 25 books for 2025. I haven't actually thought about this in much detail, but I know that I want to have 25 books that I'm really excited to read this year that aren't necessarily anticipated releases, like Six of Crows has to go on there, and that is definitely not an anticipated release. So I want to just have like my favorite 25 books that I'm most pumped to read this year written into the spines of each of those books. That's why I made each of those books really big, so I could kind of write it into the book itself. Okay, then we have the series tracker. This definitely needs some further populating, but to the best of my knowledge, at the top of my head, I started to write out some of the series that I know I haven't completed yet that I've started. A lot of these also have new releases for this year. I've got Windy City on here, Rose Hill, the Lakefront Billionaire series is getting a new one this year. The Campus Diaries is getting a new one this year. Kindred's Curse Saga, I hope we get Burn of the Everflame soon. I love that series so much so far. The Prison Healer, I haven't started reading any of those yet, but The Prison Healer is like next on my list to read, like ASAP. I also really want to get to Killer Instinct from the Natural series. I loved the first book so much, and hopefully I can imagine the rest are just as good. I need to put more series on here, so if you've got any other series that you think I need to get into, let me know, because I love a series. Okay, next we have a Hall of Fame spread. I can't remember where I saw this. I think it might have been Rachel Catherine that had a Hall of Fame spread, and I loved this idea so much. It's basically going to be at the end of the year, me filling in, or maybe I'll do it as I go, but there's only 6 slots, so I have to be super selective, but which are like of the 5 stars, because I'm hoping I'm going to get more than 5 stars this year, which ones are like the ultimate books of the year. Then we have Book of the Month and my first little Dutch door of the journal. I would honestly love to be able to do some more Dutch doors if I think of some more spreads to do, because they're just so cute, and I think it's going to look so good having each of my favorite books of the month on a little Dutch door spread. Okay, and then it was just a case of tidying everything up, trimming down the edges where I've stuck things on that have gone across in prep for doing the final flip through. I do think a lot of this needs some extra work, but anyway, for now, this is where we're up to. Okay, first draft run through. I want to emphasize draft. I don't love this first page. A lot has to change here. It's so messy, but I like the border. We just have to fix the middle. We'll get to that. Then I love this spread. I mean, I know it's a bit crinkly, but the rating system and goals being together makes so much sense to me before you get into the actual books. And then another one, reading goals, a monthly tracker. I think these two will look so nice next to each other once they're all colourful and coloured in. The best one. I still think it's probably the best one. The reading bucket list. Let me know if there's any extra ones you want me to squeeze in the edges there where I've got a little bit of space. Series tracker, again, lots of series I can still add in there. Hall of Fame for my favourite 6 books of the entire year. And then finally, Book of the Month. All of my actual reading tracking, I'm still going to stick with Goodreads and hopefully Fable this year. So if you want to see my detailed reviews, that's where those will be. Okay, all done. I'm not gonna lie, that did take quite a long time, and it's now officially starting to get dark, but that was so nice and such a lovely way to spend a few hours. I think this is gonna make all the difference to me being able to keep up with this throughout the year. Everything's now basically populated. Like, as you heard, there's still lots of colours that I want to add, and there's still bits that I want to do to it, but broadly speaking, very happy with that. And I don't know, I'm thinking of doing like a monthly bookish reset. Like, I know I've done a couple of bookish reset vlogs. I'm thinking of doing like a vlog each month that's just like a reset of a look through my TBR, see how much we've read, see how much we haven't read, clean, dust the shelves, do a bit of reorganise, buy any books that we think we want for the upcoming month, do the book journal, like just kind of have like a reset, productive to-do listy kind of vlog each month. And I think if we do that, then that's like, as I said, the perfect time to do the journal in that every month. And then I'll make sure that I keep on top of it. Anyway, I just wanted to talk you through super quickly some of my favorite products for book journaling if you also want to do it too this year. So the book, I get mine from Papier. I don't actually know if Papier is like the best place for a book journal book. I think I'm doing this for the first time. We'll just have to learn as we go. I think there are people out there who are kind of journal pros that know a little bit more. I would imagine that you can probably get some that have thicker paper than the papier ones, like a higher GSM, and I think probably the higher the GSM, the better it might be, just so that you can't see the pen through each of the pages. But I just think they're so pretty, and I love how much you can personalize them. And there's so many different front covers and there's so many different options for personalization that I just love it, and I think it feels special. So anyway, I got my journal from Papier, but you can get any one you like. I really recommend a bulleted one, so ones with the teeny tiny dots or completely blank. Lines and boxes just feel a bit too restrictive personally for me, but I'm sure that's a preference thing. But yeah, I think either bullet, just the little dots, which are quite helpful for helping you draw things in a straight line, or just completely plain. Okay, next up, a Bookish box. This may sound silly, but to have a nice wicker box that can go on your shelf that looks pretty, that you can just shove everything in, if you're a bit of a shover like me and everything doesn't have a perfect place, you just prefer like sticking it all in something, get yourself one of these. These are from H&M, can't remember how much they were, but they weren't that expensive. I'll stick a link to these ones if they're still in stock, but any old wicker basket will do, and I just put all of my supplies in here. Okay, we're rattling through this. Talking of cute storage solutions, how much do we love my new felt tip, super tips basket? I actually had this in my bathroom. I used to use it in my bathroom, and I thought, you know what? It's much better suited to pens. So I now have my big tub of super tips. I think the Crayola super tips are the best ones. Again, there might be better out there. If there is, stick it in the comments so that we can all go buy better pens. But personally, I love these. I think they're so easy to use. I've got the set of 20 pastel colors, and I've got a set of 24 of just like other ones. But you can draw the lines as thin or as thick as you want, depending on how hard you press, etc. The colours are just really fun, and like they're relatively affordable. So you need yourself a big set of felt tip pens, definitely. And then you also want to get yourself some fine liners. My fine liners are all from Papier, so I have a bunch, but to be honest, you only really need one. I use a dark blue. I wish I had a dark brown. I think that would be cuter, but I don't. And I have so many dark blue ones, I might as well just use them. But I outline everything in the journal. I think it looks really nice when it's got an outline, even if you've already done a colour. So some of my headings at the moment are like just outlined in pen, but I'm definitely going to go over them with the super tips at some point. Maybe in front of the TV tonight, but I think you only really need one proper fine liner, unless you really do want to go crazy. But if you're just getting started, you just need one. I think it's quite fun to have a couple of metallic felt tips as well. I've got one gold one, which actually came with a photo album that I bought once. So I don't have a recommendation on where to get like really nice metallic felt tips, but pop the search into Amazon, any good stationery store. I just would recommend like one metallic-y one. It's really fun to be able to do the gold stars that way for when you're rating your books. So you could probably just get gold, or you could get like a bronze, a silver and a gold, and you could do like a medal tier system with your books. That could be really fun if you had all different types of metallic. When it comes to the fun paper that I've started to stick in the book, this one is like the blue check that's already been ripped up. I literally just printed these off. So I went onto Pinterest, searched like blue gingham background, or like blue gingham print, or like pastel floral print, or like aesthetic prints. I searched like a bow print. There was like a teddy bear one that I haven't ended up using yet. And I just like saved the image, expanded it. I did it on Canva, but you could just stick it in a Word doc, make it the background, print off that page, and then I literally just like tear it all up and stick it in how I like, and it's just like normal printer paper, like nothing fancy at all. I haven't bought like a stack of these from anywhere, and I think it makes all the difference, making it kind of like, I've just seen so much like junk journal stuff online at the moment. It seems like it's a huge trend to make junk journals. Maybe I'll get into that later in the year, I'm not really sure, but I think stealing some of the vibes of the junk journal thing and applying it to my book journal I think is so nice. So stealing the whole torn up paper vibe from junk journaling and applying it to the bookish world. Next, I have like hundreds of these little Pritt sticks. I hate them. I'm just gonna say that right now. I wish I could have a better glue solution. I've seen you can get those little contraptions where you kind of, like, it puts glue down in like a strip. And I think I need to buy one of those, grab one from Amazon. But I feel like obligated to try and get through these first because I've already bought them. But Pritt stick's annoying, isn't it? It just really is. It gets glue absolutely everywhere. You end up with glue on the side of the paper that you didn't want glue on the side of the paper on. Anyway, I have Pritt sticks, and if you want to get into book journaling and you are going to go down the Pritt stick route because it's easier, get the minis. What I will say, it is useful that these are mini. They're little, they're small, and it just makes it so much easier for sticking like tiny little, like those little letters that I had on there. The mini Pritt sticks were great for that, but just like everything gets a bit sticky. On the same vein, scissors. Mini scissors. You don't want massive scissors because then it's too difficult to like weave amongst things. So you want a mini pair of scissors, mini Pritt sticks, and then just like fun stickers. I haven't put any stickers in yet, but I've got quite a lot of spare Kindle stickers that I think I want to stick directly into the journal for Kindle stickers that I don't think I'm going to enter into the rotation for this year. And I think you can just kind of collect these as you go. You can obviously get a bunch from Etsy if you do want specific stickers to go into your book journal. Otherwise, just like collect them. Maybe every time you buy new Kindle stickers, you could just like buy an extra one to go in the journal. But having little stickers is really cute. And then I haven't demonstrated this yet in this vlog. This is going to have to come in our first probably monthly reset vlog. I mean, a Bookish February reset is like right around the corner if I am going to do these once a month. And we'll take a first look at diving into the journal then and actually putting some books into it. But I bought an HP sprocket. So thank you to those of you that sent this to me as an idea. I have bought one and it's really cute. I used it to print out a couple of like mini pictures of Cameron and I. Don't know what I'm going to do with them. I probably should stick them in a scrapbook somewhere, but basically this prints out mini photos. They're really small and it's onto like sticker paper. It directly prints it onto sticker paper. So I will just be able to peel the back of the photos and stick them in the book journal. And I'm basically planning on printing out mini book covers for my favorite books. So for example, the Hall of Fame, where I want to obviously stick a little picture of the front cover of the books in each of the picture frames. I'm going to use my little mini HP sprocket. It'll come out already on sticky paper. Don't have to bother with my Pritt sticks. I'm hoping that that is going to be great and it's going to be a really good little gadget, but we'll see how we go. My immediate review is really fun. I think it's going to make my life a lot easier, but it does print everything with like a pink tinge. I like pink, but I don't necessarily want all of my colours corrupted by it. So we'll see how we go. I haven't really tried it with book covers yet. Like I said, I only have literally used it twice for 2 pictures of Cameron and I, and we both came out looking a bit sunburned because it just puts this like very pink wash on the images, but I'll see. I might be able to edit pink out of the original image, and then if it puts a bit of it back in, I don't know. I'm gonna fiddle around, and if I work it out, I'll let you know any tips and tricks. But if you have the HP sprocket and you have any tips on how to make it print like better colours, then let me know. And that was very rapid fire for me. I feel like I didn't waffle too much then, you can probably correct me. But I think that is everything. If there are any kind of like products, gadgets type stuff associated with book journaling or just bookish stuff in general, let me know if you've got any questions and I'll let you know if I have any additional recommendations. But really don't need anything. You just need a pen and a book and a love for books enough that you want to spend time outside of reading still thinking about books, which is definitely me. I said this in the last Bookish video and I'm going to say it again now. I'm probably going to say it for a few to come, but I'm so excited for 2025's year of books. I feel like we've done our full Bookish reset now. We've set our goals. We've got the journal set up. I've actually already completed my first reading vlog. We read 4 books in a week and it's waiting in the wings. It's ready to go. It'll be with you next Wednesday. And I can't believe we're nearly already at February, and then we've got February's TBR, and then all the new releases start coming out. There's so much fun bookish stuff this year. It's mad. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining me. Let me know what you're reading at the minute or if you've had a book that you've loved so far for 2025. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you're having such a lovely week and I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Bye.